Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't buy anything about this bill. I don't buy anything about the underlying premise of this bill. The underlying premise of this bill is that there is a body, the House of Representatives, at this moment, this committee, that can cast the Constitution aside. News alert, the President gets a 4-year term under the Constitution. Congress gets a 2-year term under the Constitution. There's a lot of regulations I hate, and I've worked with some of you on both sides of the aisle to try to thwart those. But we cannot, as a body, pretend that we have the authority to shortchange the term allowed by the Constitution, and that is exactly what's going on here. We can't,
will the gentleman yield?
I'll yield in a minute, but I'd be glad to. We can't do that, and whether it's your party or our party, it really doesn't matter. The American people are entitled to the protections of the Constitution. And by the way, where does this start, or where does it stop, really? I mean, we're basically telling the President, you know, chill, take a vacation. You don't have to worry about nominating somebody under your constitutional responsibility to sit on the Supreme Court. You don't have to have your executive authority utilized the last couple of months. You know, why not go to Hawaii and just take it easy? Look, we don't like some rules that are proposed, but we have no authority whatsoever to interfere with, number one, the Constitution, and number two, the choice that the people of this country made as to who they wanted to be their president. We're going to have another president coming up, and some of us are going to like it and some of us aren't.
Would the gentleman yield?
I just want to make one last point, and I will. The other thing here that's really dangerous for us as an institution, this is my view, we've got collective responsibility to try to do things that are concrete, pragmatic, and move the country forward. And all of us have that goal, all of us, even though we disagree about a lot of things. But this is never going to pass. It might pass here, it might pass the House, and even who knows whether it gets through the Senate, it'll be vetoed. And what we're doing oftentimes with some of these pie-in-the-sky bills that just won't work, when we're honest with ourselves, is we're exciting people into thinking that remedies we're proposing have some meaning in their life when we know they don't. And what we're all experiencing, and it's a threat to all of us, because it's not your party or my party, it is a threat to the integrity of an institution that has to work on the part of the American people. And when we do bogus things that have no chance of working, but just excite people into thinking that they will, and we undercut the authority of the executive, we undercut our own authority and credibility, my view, we do damage to our democracy. So I don't buy what's being done here. It's not going to work, even though I do agree a lot of regulations have to be dealt with. I also think at the end of the day, your party or mine is going to try to use whatever leverages there is. But number one, let's respect our institution. Number two, let's respect the Constitution. Reverse order. And I yield to Mr. Chaffetz.